Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We're into our sixth season, and our 129th episode. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you all tonight. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and I'm your host for the next 60 minutes or so. Boy, have we got a jam-packed show tonight. It is going to be absolutely huge. It is thanks to our major sponsor, the Gordon. They are back on deck again for this year. So we sincerely thank the CEO, Joe Ormino, and the crew at the Gordon. And speaking of Joe Ormino, we'll be having an exclusive chat to the CEO a little bit later on in the program. Also, a massive, massive shout out to our sponsor for this week's episode sponsor. It is the Barwon Soccer Club. And we'll be speaking to their president, COLIN Drain. We'll also be hearing from their senior men's coach, Dale Harris. We'll also talk to their captain of the senior men's team, Jackson Davis, after their wonderful, wonderful first up win last Saturday. That was a great effort. We've got some footage from that game as well, so there'll be plenty of action and plenty with regards to that as well. And we'll also be catching up with SHARON GIBBONS. She's the head of the Female Football Subcommittee, or the Task Force, that was, I guess, formed just last week. And we'll find out all about what their aims and ambitions are at Grovedale Reserve. And let me tell you, you don't want to miss the interview with COLIN Drain. He reveals some very, very interesting things about the future of the Barwon Soccer Club. Exciting things. Nonetheless, but certainly a lot to stay on as well for tonight. Now, in addition to all that, over the weekend we've had some teams that have come back to Geelong from Bendigo and from the Maccas Casey Cup in Cranbourne, victorious. So we'll find out about the Rangers under 15s and under 16s and the Surf Coast under 10s, who took out first place in their age divisions. We'll also do a major roundup of all the action that happened over the weekend just gone by. So, folks, strap yourselves in. We've got a huge show ahead of us. Let's get on with our first ad break.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Geelong Rangers sent a total of 6 junior teams to the annual Boys FC tournament in Bendigo last weekend, with 5 teams making the finals and 2 returning home as champions. In the under-15s finals, the Rangers defeated Williams Landing 6-0 with goals scored by Benson Flanagan, 2, Oliver Prusak, Ramin Arjamand, Marcus Magic and Charlie Khalil. After Flanagan, Prusak, Arjamand, Magic and Khalil, the triumphant under-15s Rangers squad also included Lockie Beattie, Alfie Chapman, Cho Bray, Rogers and William Standish. The team was coached by Sean Flanagan and his assistant Glenn Rogers. The Rangers under-16s defeated Latrobe Valley 4-2 in the final of the under-16s division, with goals scored by Aaron Patout 2, Tom Conway and Joey Muscara. The victorious under-16 squad lineup also included James Bassadour, Charles Edmonds Wilson, Flynn Vandershies, Lucas McLaughlin, Sam Nichols, Darcy Kent, Thomas Tallers and Harry Gigas. The team was coached by Rod Vandershies and his assistant was Hayden Pitout. Meanwhile, at the Maccas Cup tournament in Melbourne on the weekend, the Surf Coast FC boys under-10s came home with the first place finish in the under-10 boys Liga division. The young coasters defeated Moonee Valley Knights 1-0 in the final, courtesy of a lone goal by Zach Falmingham. The winning squad included Albie Threadgold, Rafa Threadgold, Zach Falmingham, Kai Fitzgerald, Ollie Fullerton, Louis Robinson, Daniel Rogers, Melvin Kelly, Errol Deshank, Charlie Morrow, Raphael Greer and Patrick O'Malley. The team was coached by Kevin Threadgold and Richie Fitzgerald.
Sure, there was a lot of new players that have come into the squad this year. Myself, I've only come into the squad maybe 5 weeks ago, and over the weeks we've been building, trying to just build coming into the first round of the season. It was obviously a bit scrappy at the start from what we expected, but once the game settled down, I was so impressed with the boys, how they handled themselves, and obviously got the 3 points, which is at the end of the day, and a clean sheet, which is most important.
Yeah, how did you find the pace of State 4? I mean, you've played in State 4 before, but adapting to it, newly promoted West Point, they were always going to be a tough side. But how did you find the pace early on?
Oh, don't get me wrong, West Point, hats off to them. They obviously got promoted last year for a reason. You know, it takes, regardless of what league you're in, it's always a big achievement to get promoted. Not everyone in their career can say they got promoted. And hats off to them, they were a good side. They had some quality out there. Obviously, them stepping up into a new league as well, it's always going to be difficult. But I reckon they handled themselves well. And as I said, yeah, hats off to them. It was a tougher game than what the scoreline suggests.
How are you finding Barwon at the moment? How are you fitting in?
Really enjoying it. Obviously, a family club, and they've made me feel welcome ever since I came here. It was absolutely honoured, that they've announced me as captain. But credit to everyone here, especially the people that come and support us. Happy to be here.
And on your right-hand side, you had your brother Christian as well. That's a bit of you're reunited after a few years playing together. How did that feel?
Yes, no, it was amazing. My little brother, we haven't played together in about 6 years, since under 21s at North Geelong. And to have him next to me, I couldn't be prouder. He held himself so well. And as I said, his older brother, I couldn't be prouder. He's getting better and better every time he steps on the pitch.
Oh, well, they were very structured, so I'll give them credits where credit's due. They were organised. They limited our opportunities, but we kept on knocking on the door. First half was a bit tight. It was more or less in the balance, maybe slightly in our favour. And second half, I think the boys came out with a whole different mentality and were determined to get the 3 points today.
Yeah, you had stars all across the park, but Vedran Stojanovic, the new recruit, scored a goal, assisted another one, just seemed to really be in everything in that second half in particular.
Yeah.
That partnership, him and Milton up front, must excite a lot of Barwon supporters.
Oh, it does. It does. Vedran's a big personality on and off the field. He brings the best out in Milton, and they are a scary combination. They really are. Like you said, stars all across the field. I think every single one of them, the boys did their job, brought in a specific role, played it to perfection. So I'm pretty happy with the boys, every single one of them today. Even our goalkeeper today, Tom Banks, outstanding. Kept us clean, gave us a clean sheet. So happy days.
Well, 1 down, 21 more games to go. Obviously, the aim is promotion. That's what everyone's saying around here at Grovedale Reserve. Do you feel the weight of those expectations, or you're pretty happy to go into the season as one of the favourites?
Yeah, it's the added pressure, but we've got, like I said, the personalities in the change room. They're a confident bunch of boys. I don't think it will scare them too much, but it'll just make them want to fight harder each game to achieve their goals.
Well, if we have a look at the results of the games played over the weekend, first of all, at the top of the page there, the VPL 1 men's competition round 7 fixture. Not good news for North Geelong fans, I'm afraid. It's just the situation seems to be going from bad to worse. A 5-0 defeat at the hands of Northcote City. It's their 7th consecutive loss. The Warriors are firmly anchored now to the bottom of the competition standings. This week, the league takes a break, but they will be in action on Saturday in the Australia Cup. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But let's turn our attention now to the season opening round of the Men's State League competitions. The Women's State League will follow in about a month's time. But in the meantime, on Saturday, there was 1 win and 1 loss for the Geelong teams. Corio, courtesy of 2 Jamie Nogler goals, defeated Upfield 2-0 at Hume Reserve. Geelong, unfortunately, were not able to get over Westgate, so they went down 2-1. Giuseppe Colossi scoring the only goal for Geelong. In State League 2, the Geelong Rangers got off to a great start against the Uni Hill Eagles 2-0, courtesy of goals by Anthony Piratina and Jordan Savinsky. In State League 4, as we saw, a 2-0 win for Barwon to get their season kick-started. Bell Park travelled to Moonee Ponds United, and unfortunately the scoreline there was 2-0 for the home side. And over at Banyule Warrior Reserve, Surf Coast defeated Balmoral, a very, very tough team indeed. They scored 2-0. Pykett and new Japanese import Kura Yanagi also scored. Now, the big news coming from Banyule Warrior Reserve is that former North Geelong Warriors NPL striker Luka Jurkovic has linked up with his brother Krešo, who in fact was the captain for the Coasters on Saturday night. Luka was in the starting lineup on Saturday, and that is going to be a formidable attacking strike force there at Surf Coast. Jaško Ikanovic, John Pikett, we've got Jurkovic as well. It is just Christian Mahn's another one there as well. It is incredible. It's a mouth-watering prospect when these two teams do meet in the Southern Geelong Derby. I think it's around about round 4 or round 5, if I'm not mistaken. In State League 5, Surfside Waves got off to a great start. Favetta scoring 2 goals as they defeated Wyndham 2-1. Lara United travelled to Ballarat, and Lara United are one of the title favourites, one of the early season title favourites. 5-2 defeat over Ballarat. McGrath 2 goals, Dake 2-1. Maniso and Mayondo, that's Oscar Mayondo scoring 1 apiece. Deakin Ducks were unable to defeat Maidstone United. The score there was 2-3. And then if we go over to page 2, wait for the graphic to come up. It doesn't seem to be coming up. I seem to be having a problem with that one. In the Nike FC Cup, we had the Deakin Ducks defeated the Darebin Falcons. Hannah Harrison 2 goals and Alexandra Wolf 1. Lara United, unfortunately, even though scoring 3 goals, they unfortunately went down to Clifton Hill 3-4. Sebastian, Vase and Gauchi scoring the goals. North Geelong travelled to Manningham United, and a very young North Geelong outfit went down to Manningham United. The Blues running out 5-2 winners for the Warriors. McKenna and Anastasia Shimic scored for the Lara side. And Surf Coast progressed through to the next round after a 3-0 forfeit over Mazanude. So as a result of that, on Wednesday, 2 p.m., Football Victoria will be drawing the round 3 pairings. So that should be great news to coming up. A bit of a tongue tie there. I was meant to have a slide pop up, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, that slide's just not coming up, and it is not showing. I'm not too sure why, but we are going to have. We will be having Australia Cup action this weekend, and starting with. There we go. Finally, we've got that slide all going up. Bit of technical issues here tonight. So on Holy Thursday, this Thursday, St Albans Dynamo playing host to the Geelong Rangers. That's at Churchill Reserve. 8 p.m. kickoff there. Promises to be a big crowd there, big holiday crowd. And then on Easter Saturday, Green Gully hosting North Geelong Warriors. Not at the usual Green Gully Reserve facility. Rather, that game is going to be at Epping Stadium in Melbourne's northern suburbs with a 1 p.m. kickoff. A ground that is very, very familiar to Surf Coast fans. That's where last year's doomed promotion playoff was staged. Okay, it's time for our very, very first guest. And late last week on a beautifully sunny Friday afternoon, I caught up with the CEO of the Gordon, our new major sponsor, Joe Ormino. This is what he had to say. And what a wonderful day it is today here in Geelong. We're right in the heart of Geelong for a very, very special announcement regarding the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And we're here in the courtyard of the Gordon Tate College, and next to me we've got the CEO of the Gordon, someone who's a very good friend of the football community here in Geelong, Joe Ormino, the CEO. Joe, welcome to this well, let's call it the extraordinary announcement for the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks, Chauncey. It's great to have you here at the Gordon. So welcome to the Gordon, and we're absolutely excited about the announcement. So it's going to be, we think, continue to be fantastic for the Geelong and football community, and we're great believers in supporting the community. So.
Yep. Well, I've got the ball, but I'm going to pass it on to Joe, and he's going to make the announcement. Over to you, Joe.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chauncey. It's my absolute pleasure to announce that the Gordon will continue its sponsorship once again of the Geelong Region Football Show. We truly believe it's a show for our community, which aligns really well with what the Gordon does. So we're really excited about partnering up with you in the show again, Chauncey, and look forward to a successful 2024.
Well, we're very, very excited about that. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much to everyone at the Gordon for backing what we're trying to do with the podcast, with the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and everything else associated with it. Some exciting times ahead, not just for the show, but obviously for football in Geelong. It's a boom. We're hearing from all clubs across the region, record numbers, particularly in the female department. It was with the Socceroos and the Matildas, really active in the international side of things. We've got an opportunity to really develop the next generation of footballers, and that's something that goes hand in hand with what you guys do here at the Gordon, developing the next generation of valuable members of our community.
Absolutely, and Gordon's no different to the football community. We want, from a women's perspective, we want all women to take up courses in the traditional trades area. So, if you think about plumbing and electrical and those sorts of things, we are absolutely keen to get more women participating in that space. So we've got some programs that we run with Skilling the Bay for the younger cohorts that might be interested in a career in engineering or some sort of trade, but we'd like to see more women's participation in those particular areas.
Now we'll talk about more upskilling and courses that are specific for our football clubs as well. But before we do that, information sessions, they're coming up shortly, and there's a whole heap of these information sessions happening both here and in our East Campus and the Werribee Campus. Yep. Tell us more about that.
Yep. So from the 7th to the 9th, the Gordon is hosting some information sessions for really to give people a bit of a taste of the courses that we offer and maybe inspire that ambition to take up one of those courses. So we'd really encourage people, if you are thinking about coming to TAFE for a course, even if you're not sure, come and speak to our teachers, our staff, and they will give you all the information that you need. You'll get exposed to our facilities and those sorts of things. So I'd encourage you to attend. Now I must give you our website so people know where to go. So that's www.thegordon.edu.au, and if you prefer to make a phone call, the number is 1300 954 371.
Excellent. Now they say these days nothing comes for free. Everything costs exorbitantly, by the way, but we're going to buck the trend here at the Gordon, and you are offering free TAFE courses. This is awesome. Tell us more.
Absolutely. So, talk about a bargain or an opportunity. The Gordon offers more than 40 free TAFE courses across the breadth of our delivery here at Geelong, at East Campus and at Werribee. So we've got free courses from nursing to early childhood to accounting, so and they're fee-free courses. So the opportunity to study, if finance was a barrier, you've got no reason to not be able to do that now. We'd encourage you to again come to those information sessions, but also just inquire about these courses. It's created some unique opportunities to people who might have had a barrier to accessing education.
Yeah, now we did mention about the clubs before, and clubs can get a direct, tangible benefit, I guess, from this association with the Gordon. But not just the Geelong Region Soccer Show, but the Gordon has been a big supporter of the football community and of various clubs. But clubs out there can really, as we said, get a tangible benefit from the Gordon. And tell us how the club-sponsored training program.
Yep. Absolutely. So we started this last year and we're extending it again this year. And we're really proud to once again offer free training to each of the clubs. We totally understand that these clubs, the heartbeat of the clubs are the volunteers. They're obviously the sporting clubs are the hub of our community as well. So, and football is no different. So once again, we would like to offer free training in the area areas of first aid, safe food handling, RSA and coffee making. So we think about the clubs and the services they provide, these sorts of things go hand in hand. Each club's got a bar, they've got they sell food and so on, and they need to be licensed. So we love to support that. It aligns well with us. And I saw you pointing at our coffee.
Yes.
We have, if you are around town, and it's particularly near Johnson's Park, we've got a coffee shop, the Social Cafe, which is the sign's just behind me, and I've shouted Thompson your coffee this morning so he can get a taste of it. So if you're around the area, pop in, have a look at our Social Cafe. There's things to eat and obviously lovely coffee, and you've got to say, for me personally, and I'm biased, it's the best coffee in Geelong. We trade people.
Well, I mean, coffee's such a big thing, and we come from a European background, a lot of us, and we do love our coffees. But in the last few years, very rarely do you find canteens having now instant coffees. Most clubhouses even have barista coffees, and here's that training, which can then lead to job prospects, and particularly people who have just arrived in Geelong or just involved. So that's a fantastic innovation. Now, I guess clubs can talk to the broader marketing department.
Absolutely. So if they talk to the marketing department, again, it's the same number I mentioned earlier, so 1300 954 371, and the team will talk to you about how we can make this happen for your club.
Now, we like to think that our sport is able to thrust talented young players, both male and female, not only just on the local stage, but on the national, on the international stage as well. And that's something that we share with the Gordon. I'm hearing there's a couple of talented young apprentices here that are reaching for the stars globally.
Absolutely. So the TAFE sector and the VET sector run national world skills competitions every year, and we send a number of our students who compete, and they some of them even become finalists. So they're competing against Victorian TAFEs and national TAFEs right across Australia. And I'm pleased to say that one of our apprentices, Trey McCauley, has been selected to represent not only his trade in carpentry, but the Gordon at the World Skills in France coming up this year. So it's really exciting for us to see, I guess, the quality of the students, but also the quality of the teaching that our teachers provide to our students. You come to the Gordon and you're really going to walk away with some world-class skills. So we're really proud that our students are able to win state competitions, and national competitions are now being thrown out there on the world stage. Is fantastic. Great. A great comparator to our sporting prowess, like our Matildas and
yes.
The Sam Kerrs of the world. Well, we've got the Sam Kerrs of our TAFE world representing us in France.
Fantastic. Now, look, I remember one coach, one in particular, speaking to a coach many years ago, an older gentleman. And he had this motto where he lived by: the day he stops learning is the day he dies. He was talking about, as a coach, he's always trying to better himself, always trying to study the game, learn every day was an opportunity to learn. I guess education these days particularly is not just for the 20-somethings, it's not just for the teenagers, it's pretty much for everyone, and really, the day we stop learning is the day we die, as morbid as it might sound. But TAFE education is something for everyone, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we like to refer to this as lifelong learning. So yes, you might come here straight out of high school. You'll come and do a trade, or you'll come and do a nursing, or whatever it might be. And so we've got the students who exit high school. Then we've got those people who are returning, who are looking to upskill in their current career, and I guess create those opportunities for them in their career, whether it's in the existing organisation or elsewhere. And then we also have those students who are looking for a career change. So we offer the full gamut of it. So when you think about the percentage of students that we have, 30% are school leavers, 30% are potentially career changers, and 30% are really looking for that upskilling for their next opportunity within their workplace.
Joe, thanks once again for all your support. Thanks for the little bit of information there about the Gordon program as well. And look, it's such a beautiful day, but the Victorian sun, if we're here for 10 minutes, we're going to cook. I think what we're going to do is we're going to now retreat to the Davidson's restaurant, the Culinary Academy behind us, for a couple of refreshments. But in the meantime, we look forward to, throughout the year, finding out a little bit more information about what is happening in the Gordon community. And once again, thank you so much for supporting the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks, Chauncey. It's absolutely our pleasure, and the alignment is fantastic in terms of community for us. So I'd encourage the football clubs to take advantage of those opportunities for free training, especially in those barista food handling courses. Ring us, and the team will be more than happy to help. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be part of your program.
Not a problem. Thanks very much, and we'll be back after this very, very short break.
Fantastic service, food and coffee, well-stocked produce and groceries at very reasonable prices. 5 stars for the coffee served, beautifully made latte, everything you need in this wonderful little shop. Staff are always friendly and helpful, an absolute treasure to the community. These are just some of the glowing comments of praise by both regular and first-time customers of the iconic Birregurra General Store. The De Kunto family, well known in Geelong football circles, has run the iconic Country General Store since 2020, and apart from providing top quality service, they, along with their extremely pleasant and friendly staff, make sure that everything you could possibly need is well stocked and always available. Located at 59 to 61 Main Street in Birregurra and open all 7 days a week, the Birregurra General Store is open from 6 a.m. each weekday and 7 a.m. on weekends. If in Birregurra, pop in and say hello to Steve and Angus.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and we're coming to you on location from Grovedale Reserve, obviously home of Barwon Soccer Club. And with me is the president, the proud president of the Barwon Soccer Club, Colin Drain. Colin, welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Sonchi.
First of all, thank you for the episode sponsorship. This episode, of course, is being sponsored by the Barwon Soccer Club. But let's get into it straight away, mate. When from the outside looking in, you look at, David Rowe was president for many, many years. Dale Harris is senior men's coach. He's been in the job for since the dinosaurs, I guess. Simon Blanche, head of the senior women's as well. And you've been president now for, 3 years, is it?
This is my third year.
Third year, yeah. So there's a real air of stability around the club with regards to a lot of those key appointments. Is that how it is at Barwon? Because it sort of seems to be that way.
Yeah, we try and provide an environment where people are supported and encouraged and just want to continue in their roles. Having said that, Simon isn't coaching the women's team this year. He's decided to focus more on the refereeing side this year. So we've got a new women's coach.
Who's that, by the way?
His name's Lucas. He's a Dutch guy that's been introduced to Dale. And the women have been responding to him really well so far. It's been a good start for him.
There you go. Well, that's breaking news as well. I guess with that off-field stability, as far as the boardroom is concerned, it means that a lot of the goals, a lot of sort of the long-term, short-term, medium-term goals that you set as a club are able to be realised, able to be kind of implemented. There's been a master plan around this club, and the club's just growing at a massive rate, and I guess there's limitations as we kind of look over to the eastern side over there, where we'd like to see a third pitch, but unfortunately the limitations of the facility are such that it can grow to a certain extent. How's the club addressing this monumental growth and with regards to being able to I guess accommodate all the squads?
We're having to be a bit more creative this year. We're looking at about 600 players this year compared to just under 500 last year.
Is that the most in Geelong at the moment?
I wouldn't
Don't know.
wouldn't know. It's
Yeah.
got to be up there. But last year was certainly our biggest number ever, and we're 20% up on that this year
Wow.
again. So yeah, obviously we've had some discussions with the council. We've certainly been encouraged to look for alternative venues that we can utilise, and council have been helpful in working with us to achieve that. We're using Belmont Common at the moment, which is it's got plenty of space there. It's got floodlights, although the floodlights are out of action temporarily because there was some vandalism.
Oh gosh,
Unfortunately,
another
a few
one.
weeks ago.
Another one.
So we're using it for the early sessions for the juniors on a Monday and a Thursday night, purely because we can't fit everyone here. We've got kids training here every night of the week. We've got a group here on a Friday night, and we've got another one following them. We just can't fit everyone on, and even if we did, as you're probably aware, the grounds take a battering and a pretty patchy, not far through the season. So yeah, we've just had to accommodate teams where we can, and obviously we'll continue working with council in terms of a future venue for the club.
Yep.
The expansion here won't happen.
Yep.
There was too much opposition by the locals, unfortunately.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, it looks like we could be in line for a possible relocation.
Okay.
At some point in the next 3-4 years.
Yep. Interesting. All right. Well, that's very interesting. That's interesting. Has been any idea mooted as to where a possible relocation may be? I know Armstrong Creek, there was talk of that sub-regional facility. City of Greater Geelong, I think, have been talking about that for a couple of decades.
Yep.
But is that a possibility, or is there plans afoot maybe to go somewhere else?
Well, I think there's about 8 different sports precincts that are in the budget over the next 5 years for the council to develop in this Armstrong Creek area.
Yeah.
And I think there's one actually about 2 minutes down Reserve Road.
Yeah.
In Charlemont, which we have been told that would be
Could
the most likely location.
Yep.
There's, I think, in the current year's budget, there's some money for planning works for that particular development. So we'll continue working with council and seeing what they can come up with.
Exciting times ahead indeed, exciting times ahead. Now, I guess we know throughout the region the growth has been fueled by just overall increased numbers, but definitely in the female sector, both juniors and seniors, there seems to be an explosion after the Women's World Cup. Now, here at Barwon, you're not resting on your laurels. Just last week, you actually had a little task force formed or a subcommittee formed that was looking at expanding the number of female players here. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, it all started from the Club Changer program, which a number of clubs have already received their 1-star accreditation for, and that was focused on the female side of sport. So the first logical step from that, we thought, was to appoint a head of female football, and then subsequently, obviously, a committee that would be working with her to make sure that the players that we already have, obviously, feeling safe and supported and welcome, and having as good an experience as they can, but also with an eye to the future to, as you said, continue to grow the number of female teams that we have here at the club, and female coaches, female volunteers, female referees.
Yep.
So it's all part of that one big process.
Yep.
So
it's not just players; it's kind of the whole gamut, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the whole female participation.
Yep. Yep.
So SHARON Gibbons has been appointed as our first ever head of female football, and she had a committee meeting on Wednesday night, and there was about 10 or 11 people there, I believe. So it's certainly a great start. There's plenty of people willing to help, whether it's parents of female players. We've got 1 or 2 of the actual players themselves. It doesn't have to be females on the committee. It could be dads of girl players as well. We're looking for probably 1 or 2 of the younger female players to get involved as well, just to give us their perspective. But yeah, I think Sharon's certainly excited, very passionate about the development of female football in general. As obviously, she's got a daughter who's been playing for a number of years now. She's coached, been a soccer mum for many years. So I think she's a great person to lead that committee.
Now, what about yourself, mate? Personally, you're very dedicated yourself. We obviously know all the club presidents around Geelong are indeed, but it's a growing club, and as you said, it's 20%. Just players have increased on last year, so over 600. You've got senior section, you've got the local community section, you've got juniors, you've got now a female, exclusively a female kind of subcommittee. Does it get easier or harder overseeing and running such a club that just seems to be growing, experiencing massive growing pains?
It feels like it's getting harder every year.
It's like having a teenager as a child.
The last 2 months in particular have been incredibly. It's been never a quiet moment. Answering emails and messages at all hours. Obviously trying to do a full-time job during the day, but still getting plenty to do during the day as well. But having said that, the more we grow, the more volunteers that we can attract. And we've certainly got some great helpers on the committee and just in general at the club as well. So some of them have taken that workload, or some of the workload, away from me, which has been a massive help, because as my wife will testify, I'm not at home very much at this time of year.
Now, we'll talk about the on-field side of things very, very shortly, but I guess in the meantime, to sort of conclude the off-field goings-on here at Grovedale Reserve, I guess the way Barwon is located geographically, right close to the growth corridor, that is Armstrong Creek, as you mentioned. A lot of new families moving in from outside the region, from Melbourne and other parts as well. Are you finding that's a flow-on effect, that a lot of people now, out of towners, so to speak, who are calling Geelong home now, are starting to get involved through the soccer club, through the football club here?
Yeah, it's just a natural progression when you move to a new area. You join a club, you find new friends and make new connections, and just throw yourself into it. So we've picked up, apart from players, we've picked up a few new families that the parents have put their hands up to volunteer.
Fantastic.
For coaching this year as well. We seem to have a good reputation, so get a number of inquiries saying that they've been referred by friends at school. They've just moved to the school and they're looking for a club to join. We certainly pick up a lot of players, not just from this postcode. We've got families sort of coming from all over Geelong to come and play here, which is great.
Well, it's a Friday evening when most people are going out for dinner or drinks, and we're interviewing the president here at the club. And I guess a testament to what you just said is right behind us in the club rooms, there's a coach education seminar meeting going on there as well. So the club doesn't just, give coaches, free tracksuits and things like that. They actually look after them and provide that after-sales service, so to speak, where the coaches aren't left to their own devices. So there's a real kind of feeling of you got to work with the coaches, not just get the coaches do their own thing type of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. We always like to have coaches that want to carry on, rather than just doing it for a year and giving up because they've just been left to get on with their own thing and not really supported. This year in particular, we knew in advance that we were going to have an explosion of numbers, so we worked really hard to line up as many coaches as possible before we opened registrations, and it's worked out. I think we've got just over 80 coaches this year.
Wow.
I think it's about 52 teams we've got. and pretty much every team apart from the under 7s will have 2 coaches working with each team. So yeah, the step up from the parents this year has been phenomenal. We've got a real mix of coaches that have been doing it for many years now, and some complete beginners. So yeah, one of the initiatives that we've taken on this year is we've got Wayne Thomas, who was our reserves coach for the last few years. He's working specifically with the under 11s at the moment. So we've got 6 under 11 boys teams. Sorry, 7. He's working with them 2 nights a week, getting involved in the sessions, making sure that the coaches have got someone to ask any help, that they're supported and have got resources to use. And then on top of that, we've got Josip Zilic, who's in the rooms now with a group of the coaches. He's taking on a bit of a wider role for a shorter period of time. Working with more of the age groups, and yeah, obviously another great experienced resource to call on, and he's working with the coaches right now
as we speak. Fantastic. Well, we're going to relocate, and we're going to go to the inner sanctum, the dressing rooms. This is my favourite. I love going into the dressing rooms, and who knows, we might even have that smell of deep heat still permeating through the air. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the on-field side of things with the senior men's and the senior women's in the season ahead. Now we've relocated to the dressing room, and we're speaking with the president of Barwon, COLIN DRAIN. Colin, let's turn our attention now to on-field matters. The season kicked off, well, when we're filming this, the season kicks off tomorrow, but when we're actually airing this on Monday night, the first game of the season will have played, and in a news desk we will have already seen all the highlights of the first game against West Point. But it's a big year, and the club's really signalled its intentions with the signing of some very, very high-profile players. Obviously, the pick of the bunch, Vedran Stojanovic and Jackson Davis, ex-State League One players. But we've got Jack Banks, we've got Brian Con's little boy, what's his name? Ben Con, of course, yeah. So there's quite a fair few players there. How important is promotion to the senior men's team this year?
I would say it's a massive ambition that we have. Dale's been working tirelessly over the off season, overseeing quite a big turnover of the playing group. We had a number of guys that left for a variety of reasons: retirement, moving to other clubs, moving out of the area. So he had quite a bit of recruiting to do. Luckily, he's got an extensive network of contacts, and he seems to be a popular coach. A lot of the players actually approached him to want to come.
And that was going to be my next point. It seems to me that Barwon's really become a bit of a destination club, where players from other clubs, other regions as well, are really looking to Barwon as a point where they can either restart their careers or they can start their careers for some of the younger players. But that's really testament. We keep that talk about that stability that the club has, and that seems to be that real buzzword, stability at the club.
Yeah, Dale's coming into his 7th season as head coach, so that is critical. You look at a lot of other clubs; they're changing coaches every year. As a player, you want to go into a stable environment. I know we've had a lot of turnover of players, but certainly the support from the coaches and the volunteers at the club, we try and provide an environment where the players can just come and enjoy their football, express themselves, play without fear, and obviously learn from a great coach as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I've always said that south of the Barwon we need another big club, and it seems to me Surf Coast and Barwon have got this nice little on-field rivalry happening, and it's good to see. It's really, really good to see, and a lot of pundits predicting both Surf Coast and Barwon to be vying very prominently for promotion. Let's turn our attention now to the senior women's, because we haven't forgotten them, of course. But they, at the moment, And if we look at Surf Coast, who have this year decided that they're going to re-enter the state league sides, and all of the kind of with the senior women's, all of the kind of the strength of the teams and squad seems to be north of the Barwon, North Geelong, Geelong Galaxy, Lara and Rangers in State 2. Where are we at with the senior women's team? We spoke about a new coach as well. Is there any kind of long-term plans to maybe move into the state league competitions the way the men did, or is it kind of in the meantime we need to build up the foundations first before we do that? What's the plans afoot regarding that?
I'd say we've been building up those foundations over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
So we've got an under-15 team this year. We've got an under-16 team which is playing in the Metro competition. Most of the girls played in it last year with the same age group,
And they did very well.
and they got to the grand final and obviously lost to North Geelong in the
grand final. Yep.
But as I said, most of them are playing up a year, so they can go again in the same age group. They've lost a few of the older players and a couple of good goal scorers. So I think that younger team is the one to keep an eye on over the next year or two. And if as part of Sharon's role, we determine that there is an appetite for that progression, then certainly we want to support that as much as they need. I had half in mind that this year there might be enough senior players for 2 teams, but it doesn't look like we're going to get there. But I think we're certainly underpinning it with the numbers that are coming through and some real good quality
juniors
players to look out for. And certainly, if the girls want to do it, we'll take them to the state.
Fantastic, New coach, let's talk about him. So he's come in, obviously he was replaced Simon Blanchard. What was his name?
Lucas Bogard.
He's
a Dutch guy.
Yep.
Moved to Geelong several years ago. Plenty of experience of coaching up in New South Wales, I believe.
Yep.
As well as back home. He's come in. He's working with a pretty strong group, I have to say. We've got a few good recruits which we've kept fairly quiet up until now, but we'll probably start getting them announced over the next couple of weeks. And they're quite a young squad. We've lost some of the older women who've played for the last 5 years, but we've got, I think, the squad of currently about 18. I think there's 7 of them that are under 18s.
Wow. Yep.
So it certainly bodes well for the next few years for that group. And we've picked up a couple from, I think, Galaxy. They've moved across here. So it's looking good.
How is the women's competition looking for this year? Not much has been sort of spoken about it, and obviously it's the local season doesn't kick off until well into I think third week of April or something like that. Has Football Victoria sort of released the league structures or plans or anything like that?
No, not yet. I'm not sure exactly when they're due. It can't be far away. But the team entries closed 2 weeks ago. So I would hope that the actual information of the number of teams is pretty close to being released. And then the plan is for there to be some sort of qualifying groups. And then obviously the winners or runners up of each group will go into the first division. And the rest into Division 2, and maybe, you never know, there might be enough for 3 divisions. We'll have to wait and see.
So at this stage, like they're probably going to do what they did last year, where everyone will be together, and then after a certain amount of qualifying games, then they'll break that up into Division 1, Division 2, and as you say, possibly Division 3.
It's going to be slightly different, and it'll be the same with the men's competition. So there'll be groups of 4 or 5 teams. Just playing for 3 or 4 weeks in a qualifying group. But those groups will be seeded based on last year's league positions. And then, say there's 6 groups. And, the 6 winners or top 2 from each group will go into Division 1. And the rest will be in Division 2. So rather than teams picking and choosing where they're going to be.
Something different.
Something different this year.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure there'll be people who'll criticise it. I'm sure there'll be people who will be great advocates and supporters of it. But I guess something had to happen, because in years gone by, particularly with the local community league, you'd have teams that were Division 1 calibre teams playing in Division 3, and vice versa, teams that were just filling up the numbers in Division 1 probably should have been in Division 2 and Division 3. So I guess Football Victoria, in their wisdom, they needed to try something, huh?
Yeah, and it's all come from the work that the Geelong Football Community Club reps have actually spent a lot of time on before Christmas. We had some workshops, and this was the preferred solution. So let's give it a try.
Absolutely. Well, it certainly looks like it's going to be a very interesting 2024 season. In Barwon's case, it's going to be a record-breaking with the number of players, and you can just see the sigh of anguish enveloping us over here. But Colin, mate, we wish you all the very, very best for season 2024. Either way, it's going to be an eventful and enjoyable season in many ways. Lots of headaches, but I'm sure lots of rewards as well.
Yeah, let's hope all the hard work is worth it and we get off to a good start tomorrow. Regardless of what happens, the boys will give it a good crack and it should be good football for the fans to come and watch.
Fantastic. All right, that was Colin Drain, the president of the Barwon Soccer Club. We'll be back after this very, very short break. You're watching the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
The world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want.
There you go, Curva Coaching Geelong, one of our business advertisers, business sponsors. And we'd like to thank every one of the organisations that have sponsored us and have backed us, and in particular our major sponsor, the Gordon, but also our club sponsors. We've had Geelong Rangers, Barwon Soccer Club, who are the sponsors of this episode, and they've also sponsored an episode later in the season. And so too has Bell Park. They have sponsored 2 episodes. But there's the holiday camp for Curva Coaching Geelong on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of April. That's next week at Geelong College. Then the roadshow moves to Lawn for the 4th and the 5th of April. A great little getaway over the school holidays maybe for some families here in Geelong and around the region. And then it all culminates with a 3-day camp in Torquay on the 8th, 9th and the 10th of April. For more information, go to the website curva.com.au. There's a phone number there, 0423 975 569, and the email geelong@curva.com.au. Okay, folks, it's time for our final guest for tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. She's well known around the Barwon Soccer Club and indeed Geelong football circles. And she's also the head of female football at the Barwon Soccer Club, a newly created position. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome SHARON Gibbons to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. SHARON, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight. First of all, congratulations on your appointment as well. We heard President Colin Drain talking about, bring my microphone down, heard the President talking about how it was formed last week, and there was a pretty healthy attendance at the first meeting. But tell us, how did it come about in your eyes, and what's some of the outcomes of that initial meeting?
So, as you know, female soccer has exploded in Geelong, thanks to the Matildas, and our numbers have just gone up 100% on last year, and we just wanted to make sure that the club does the right thing for all the girls coming through. The Matildas give us the gift of more girls playing soccer, and now we just need to make sure that we've got the pathways for them to play, the coaches for them to be coached, and look after all the girls that come to the club. The Matildas got them there, and we just got to keep them there now, keep growing the love for the game.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a huge jump. That's a massive jump, and we heard Colin say well over 600 players now, and that's incredible. He also spoke about as well the foundations of the female structure at Barwon, how in the last few years it's a really good talent coming up through the under 15, under 16s ranks. Is the focus of this Female Football Taskforce or subcommittee to maybe try and work on structuralizing or formalizing the structure of the pathway from the mini roos all the way up to the seniors?
We hope so. We hope that we'll be able to offer the girls more going forward. Like we have the Metro team, the 16th Metro team last year and this year. And the vision would hopefully be that they would carry on through, and then our younger girls can see that there's a pathway for them, that if they want to play Metro, or hopefully maybe in the future we'll have a State Leagues women's team. You just never know with the talent that's coming through at the minute. So we've got like some really strong girls coming through, and we just want to make sure that they've got pathways at Barwon to keep them at Barwon and they don't have to go elsewhere. But it's also about making sure that, you know, we've got structure in place that as we grow, that we'll be able to cater for the girls that's coming in. Like we had 5 teams last year, we've got 11 teams this year. So it's getting bigger every year, and hopefully that growth keeps coming, and we just need to have facilities in place for these girls so that we don't have to turn them away.
Yeah, we've seen in recent years Football Victoria and the various tiers of government have really been pushing female sport and you know, all inclusion change rooms and things like that. What about like off the field as far as attracting female administrators and female coaches in particular? Because at the moment there's still a lot of dads, for example, getting involved with coaching or partners and husbands and things like that. Are we starting to see now more and more former players getting on board as coaches, mums coming along on board as coaches and that sort of stuff? Yeah,
we've been really fortunate. This year we've got Emma Ray come back to coach. She came back she came back last year just to help out, but this year she has actually taken a team and she's running one of our teams. So Emma's a past player of Barwon, one of the very first ever female player for Barwon. So she's come back to help coach this year, and we've got a couple more mums that have come on board to coach, but then we've also been able to get a couple of past players. We've got another one, Rachel, she's come back as well this year. So for a couple of years I used to be the only female coach at Barwon, but that's not the case anymore. Now we've got maybe about 8 or 9 female coaches helping through, and we've got a couple of mums coaching boys teams, but a few coaching the girls teams as well, which is fantastic.
That is really, really good to see, and that is absolutely, I guess, the right direction that we want the club and the sport to head to. Well, it seems to me certainly that 2024 is going to be a very, very busy year for the club as a whole, but also for yourself. And you're excited about the season ahead, are you? Or are you kind of worried really about the stress?
Look, everything comes with stress, but we're really excited. Like, I'm so excited. I'll be happy that this year there'll be more than one girls team playing on a Saturday at the club. We get the younger girls up there to support the older ones, and vice versa. My dream would be we'd move all the girls to a Saturday. We'd take the mini roos out of the boys' hub and have maybe mini roo hubs for girls on a Saturday, so all the girls can watch each other play and be a bit of a community up there on a Saturday as well to support the older girls.
Has there been any talk about that? Because, like, from what I can gather, the mini roos are really a bursting point, and it's very, very hard at the moment. Yeah, to just
like, I haven't heard anything. I think it would be a great idea, but maybe the powers will be will hear this and maybe they'll get behind it a bit, and we can get the girls, because I don't know how the clubs are going to cope this year with the amount of mini roos teams. So if we took the girls out, maybe it wouldn't fix it, but it would sure help.
I can just see the parents with the pigeon pairs. On the Saturday, it's the daughters. On the Sunday, it's the sons. But that's probably not a bad thing.
Well, the girls go to Saturday anyway once they hit under 12s and 13s. So it's not a big leap.
Right. That's exactly
right. So it's just a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. To yourself and to everyone at Barwon, thank you very, very much for supporting us. And we certainly hope that we can support you guys this year. But it's exciting times ahead at Barwon Soccer Club. We wish you all the best in 2024.
Thanks, Tanchi.
Good on you. Sharon Gibbons, the head of the Female Football Taskforce, the subcommittee at Barwon, at Grovedale Reserve Barwon. Well, it certainly looks like they've got a couple of campuses operating at the moment. Belmont Common, Barwon's home at Grovedale Reserve, and in a few years' time, we could have a whole new complex at Charlemont. Exciting times ahead for Barwon Soccer Club. Folks, if you would like to do what Barwon has done, what Bell Park has done, what Geelong Rangers have done, and that is sponsor an episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, please get in touch with us. Email us at communitysportsmedia@gmail.com. There we go. There's right there the address. Contact us via private message via our Facebook page. Well, for those that do know me personally, get in touch with me. We'd love to have you on board. We're going to be taking a very, very short break. Very short break, I mean. You can blink and we'll be back to wrap up tonight's episode.
There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty and learn by doing in state-of-the-art facilities, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll graduate work ready, and you'll graduate sooner. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and that is it for episode 129, our fourth episode in 2024. Next week for Easter Monday, we will be back with a special Easter Monday show. It won't be probably as long as our normal shows, but nonetheless, we will be back there next week. We'll be having a trip down memory lane and looking at some old footage of football in the Geelong region. So do tune in for that. And we might even have a few guests as well next week. Do have a great Easter if you celebrate Easter over the coming weekend. Enjoy the break if you're not doing anything, and certainly stay safe. Until then, bye-bye. My name is Tonshi Prusak.